Hello and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I am Dennis Adegunloye. President Bola Tinubu has ordered the cleaning up of forests and coastal areas to rid them of criminals and illegal miners. Minister of Environment Balarabe Abbas Lawal has been asked to champion this cause. Charles Alpha reports.
The recent alarming rate of killings of forest guards, wildlife crimes, poaching, activities of illegal miners, and likely threats from imported genetically modified products into Nigeria are never going to be allowed to continue. And this is why the Minister of Environment, Balarabe Abbas, was mandated to deliver the marching orders to the concerned agencies under the ministry. The National Park Service and National Biosafety Management Agency are central in this regard for the development and enhancement of the Nigeria's game reserves for tourism.
There is no agency that the President asked me about and asked me to explain how they operate. He asked me 3 times, do they bear arms? I said, yes, they bear arms. They are not a paramilitary, so he was happy because of the issues of security that has developed the nation. I wrote a letter to the Minister of Defense to give us more arms. But what I'm thinking of is that rather than going for arms from the Minister of Defense, we will now convince the President to allow us to buy. Headquarters, we have 20 projects, and we have executed up to 95%. Some are yet to be completed. We sincerely thank the President and the Honourable Minister for this effort.
What are the consequences that we envisage when there's unregulated practice of modern biotechnology? These include possibility of misapplication.
As the agencies introduce the minister to their modes of operations, on the whole, teamwork, commitment to duty, mentoring and collaboration with state governments are deemed essential to realizing these orders. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has inspected the ongoing work on the access roads to the metro station ahead of the May project deadline. Onoze Yakubu brings us details.
Construction of the access roads to the Abuja metro station is now receiving priority attention, all in a bid to meet the May deadline when the president is expected to ride on the metro line.
It's important is that we want to fulfill the promise we have made to Mr. President and the residents of Abuja that God willing, everything be equal, we will use the metro line. And for me, it is a major breakthrough so that this can reduce the influx of vehicles to the city, and it's going to help us a lot.
FCT Minister further discloses that arrangements have been put in place to ensure proper funding of the projects.
When we did the supplementary revision budget, we included what we call emergency. And so these roads come under the emergency. And like I said before, that the Minister of Finance has released 50% of what is provided. And we're also going to make sure that we also made some provision in our 2024 statutory budget, so that if the fund in the national budget is not enough, then we complement with what is the statutory budget.
The projects inspected are the ongoing construction of access roads to Wupa and Basenjiwa train stations, as well as the Idu Industrial District Road, where the minister was taking around different sections of the ongoing work. Onozea Kubu, NTA News.
Now, the federal government has assured Nigerians that it will continue to boost the economy through constant support for micro, small and medium enterprises across the country. This assurance came from the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Boyega Oyetola, at the official flag-off of conditional grant scheme for nano and micro enterprises in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. Kayode Oladuso reports.
Conditional grant scheme for nano and micro enterprises saw the presentation of 50,000 naira one-time payment and equipment for nano and micro business owners in the state. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Boyega Oyetola, while presenting the grant, affirmed that it is part of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu to elevate poverty and drive growth by supporting small businesses at the grassroots.
Small and medium scale enterprises is the bedrock of economic growth of any nation. We are able to empower the small scale enterprises particularly. We are growing the economy of the nation.
The program was executed under the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN.
96% of the small and medium enterprises make up all the businesses in Nigeria. They're responsible for approximately 70 million jobs and 50% of our GDP. So what we're doing here and what we've done in Osun State is to support them. And we're implementing His Excellency the President's strategy. Earlier, a textile factory was declared open by the minister to facilitate employment scheme at the Industrial Development Center in Osogbo. Kayode Oladuso, NTA News.
A 2-year teachers internship scheme program has commenced to address the shortage of qualified teachers at the basic education level. Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, says the program will project education sector in the right direction and enhance professionalism. Christiana Akande tells us more.
The Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, in collaboration with Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN, National Open University now, and National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, put together the scheme to upscale capacity of participants in smart education and build mass new generation of teachers with enhanced skill using technological innovation to impact knowledge. Joy Stephen says she is eager for the program and already thinking of how to impact her students.
The scheme is all about breeding a new generation of teachers who will be digitally smart.
The quality of your education and the quality of the certificates is determined to a very large extent by the quality of the drivers.
The era in which we are is one where digital technology is playing a major role in the teaching and learning processes.
Teacher internship programs all over the world have proven to play a pivotal role in addressing the long-standing challenge of bridging the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical skills.
At the end of the internship program, successful graduates will be awarded a teacher internship certificate, qualifying them for TRCS induction and certification. In Abuja, Christiana Akande, NTA News.
Thank you, Christiana. Now, how often do you receive unsolicited messages from loan companies? And do you think of what happens to your sensitive data, some of which are easily accessible to these companies? Well, take a listen to this report by Joe Kokwola on how many Lagosians, especially civil servants, are now being bombarded with unsolicited messages from loan companies who are desperate to get clients for their services.
The preponderance of loan companies has led to an unhealthy competition, with many so desperate that they breach the privacy of prospective customers. Representatives of these loan companies armed with relevant personal details use various tactics to persuade salary earners to obtain loans without explaining the terms and conditions.
The problem is, how do they get these numbers to send in bulk SMS? It's either through the NCC or there's somewhere government need to find the route of how they get these things.
First thing, did you apply for it? Belief is ignorance. That is, people don't have knowledge. Another point is greediness. Because people are greedy, they are not ready to do anything. Any small thing, they fall for it.
Considering the nefarious activities of some companies, data protection is germane, and experts have urged Nigerians to guard their data jealously.
On the issue of data protection, Nigeria as a country, we need to invest heavily in IT infrastructure. As individuals, we all have our responsibility. We are in the digital world. You must know what is happening.
While Nigerians are expected to be careful in their transactions with loan companies, stakeholders are calling for sanctions against those infringing on the privacy of workers through unsolicited messages. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
And Joel is standing by now to give us an update on the desperation of issuing out these loans. Joel, what is the current situation out there, and what are the concerns that the locals there are bringing about or expressing to you?
Thank you, Dennis. Indeed, many Lagosians are now at the mercy of these loan companies. Many of them who are trapped in this loan web have their privileges in terms of data protection, in terms of privacy withdrawn. And these loan apps do send series of text messages to those on their phone contacts and their guarantors, telling them all sorts of things about these loan defaulters. Many of them could not comply with the stringent terms and conditions of these loan sharks. Most of the loan sharks are on the social media, on Google Play Store, and they come with all sorts of stringent terms and conditions that the loan those defaulting could not meet these loan terms and conditions. And the next thing they do is they begin to threaten them, emotionally abuse them, physically assault even some of them. And one of the respondents I spoke with in the course of this report, the background report, told me that his brother, the obituary of one of his brothers was declared on the social media for defaulting on a loan of just 10,000 naira, and people started calling the defaulter to know if he was dead or alive. And now what people are saying, since CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Apex Bank, clamped down on these loan apps at a particular point in time, many of them are now coming back, changing names, and are becoming desperate just to lure unsuspecting members of the public into their net once again. What they want the necessary or relevant authority to do now is to apply sanction to save Nigerians the embarrassment from these loan sharks.
All right, Joel, many thanks for that. Certainly these online money lenders are definitely very unscrupulous in a lot of their practices, and the public is warned to be wary of them. Many thanks for that. Now the fight against drug abuse rages on as the Adamawa State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it has arrested 365 suspected dealers with drugs worth millions of naira. Simon Asher has details.
In what is known as sock and die, we made a total seizure of 71 drums and 65 jerrycans of 25 liters, totally.
Drug addiction and trafficking of illicit drugs are said to have devastating effect on the well-being of the society if not checked. The Adamawa State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency made concerted effort during its operations in the year 2023 with a seizure of 1,845,070 kilograms of illicit drugs, equivalent to 1.8 tons of assorted drugs in the state.
NDLEA cannot do it all alone.
The commander, NDLEA in the state, when reviewing the activities of the command for the year 2022/2023, says there is a decrease in its arrests by 25% compared to the 365 suspects arrested in 2023 as as against the 457 in the year 2022. The recorded 33% increase in the items seized during the year under review. The command has successfully treated, counseled and rehabilitated 42 drug-dependent persons in addition to carrying out 66 sensitization enlightenment campaign on war against drug abuse carried across the 21 local government areas of Adamawa State. To sustain the tempo in the year 2024, the command added that it has deployed drug intelligence officers across the nooks and crannies of the state, but decried lack of adequate operational vehicles as major challenge affecting its smooth operations in the fight against drug abuse in the society. In Yola, Simon Asher, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Federal Ministry of Youth Development has expressed preparedness to partner with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on raising awareness, providing rehabilitation and skills acquisition for Nigerian youths affected by the scourge of substance abuse. Minister of Youth Development, Dr. Jamila Ibrahim Bio, made this known when she visited the chairman of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, at the agency's headquarters in Abuja to discuss areas of collaboration to include advocacy and strengthening grassroots awareness. She expressed optimism that the National Youth Development Bank, soon to be launched by the federal government, could serve as a channel for rehabilitated young Nigerians to get funding for beneficial endeavors. The NDLEA boss stressed the urgent need for all stakeholders to strengthen partnerships with a view to curbing the menace of substance abuse and drug trafficking, given the strong nexus between drug abuse and security challenges facing the country. Let's now join Michael in our Lagos Network Center for more stories. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Dennis. Consistent maintenance of federal roads will be given priority as the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, continues to gain more mileage in road rehabilitation in Lagos and Ogun Corridor. Joe Gopola reports that the agency wants Nigerians to protect public infrastructure to forestall damage.
Building on the success recorded during the tagged Operation Connect to Your Destination, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, is determined to ensure all federal roads in Lagos and Ogun Corridor are in good shape. Before the intervention of FEMA, Itokin-Ikorodu Road was hitherto a nightmare with the deplorable state of the road, but the prompt intervention of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency brought relief to the people. Just like Itokin, Agbara Road, especially the critically failed section around the markets on Lagos-Badagry Expressway, takes an average of 3 hours in gridlock, necessitating the intervention of FEMA.
I came all the way from Ikeja, passing through. I mean, it was very fast.
It's a thing of joy. We are happy, especially we that apply this road on a daily basis.
The Oloto of Otoawori lauded the proactive steps by FEMA.
Since the last week, when the government came to assist for the road issue, the palliative they did there. In fact, it's very nice.
Director East Operations of FEMA says the agency will redouble its efforts this year to ensure each free vehicular movement.
At least one major part of the problem has been solved by the FRME here. It is in our plan that the other side too, which is the Badagry bound, will also be tackled. And we also have a plan to now desilt the entire drains and possibly too, based on availability of funds, cover the slab.
We plan to intervene in so many sections of our routes, majorly between Jibowu and Ikorodu dual carriageway.
With more funding, the agency assured Nigerians of a jolly good ride in 2024. In Lagos, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
Leveraging on its ranking by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council as #1 state in the ease of doing business, Gombe State is seeking to attract more investment into the state to sustain its growth trajectory by raising a green bond worth 30 billion naira from the capital market. Jobi Bokwala reports that the state governor Mohammed Inua Yahaya alongside its economic team met with prospective investors at the Nigerian Exchange Group in Lagos and assured them of a return on investment.
The governor of Gombe State, Mohammed Inua Yahaya, in company of top government officials closing the day's trading on the floor of the Nigerian Exchange Group. This visit is to collaborate in achieving Gombe State Investment Summit Roundtable, which is a precursor to the forthcoming Go Invest 2.0. The capital market is therefore a veritable platform to raise green bond worth 30 billion naira to fund key infrastructural projects, and to actualize this, the chairman of the NGS board used the opportunity to convince industry players to invest in his home state. The governor Muhammadu Inuayaya described the state as strategically positioned to boost investment in critical infrastructure while supporting businesses to thrive.
Expecting to raise about 30 billion naira for the start, and we may break it into segments, but that's our intention. And we're sure with the support we saw and the acceptance that we've gotten from the floor and from the chief stakeholders, we are going to hit our target.
The governor, who expressed confidence in Nigeria's capital market, urged investors to take advantage of the huge capital potential in the state, which includes vast arable land, abundant mineral resources, the agricultural sector and its value chain, which is worth over $40 billion.
Gombe has been making it, knowing that we came tops in order in 2 sequences. From 2022 to 2021, we came tops in terms of enabling business environment, and we are in the center of the Northeast. There is access to market.
The meeting is already yielding the desired result with the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding.
We've signed an MOU to build infrastructure in Gombe. We'll build fiber optic network in Gombe, also a data center.
Stakeholders and other capital market experts commended the governor for thinking outside the box. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continues after this break. Please stay.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. 11 suspects conveying equipment for construction of illegal refineries have been tracked down and apprehended by operatives of Nigerian Navy Port Finder. Kingsley Nigeria reports that the suspects were intercepted around Krakrama Creeks in Rivers State and handed over to Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps for prosecution.
Notwithstanding the spirited effort by the security agencies to clamp down on the activities of miscreants involved in illegal oil bunkering, the syndicates appear unrelenting. Nigerian Navy, on its part, is taking a step ahead in its latest operation to checkmate the supply chain and construction of illegal refining sites.
No matter the efforts you're putting, these people are resilient. They are coming back. And then the base is also not deterred. You know, now we have stepped up in trying to deny them in building these refineries. That's why we've deployed our assets, intelligence operatives from point of delivery of these products to stop them from even constructing. That's why you can see we started apprehending them before the construction at the moment.
NNS Pathfinder, in the latest patrol of the creeks in its area of jurisdiction, was able to intercept this boat with 11 crew members conveying 10 metal plates, 11 angle iron, and 20 gas cylinders on their way to establish an illegal refinery.
As we are going out of this place to the commands, we will subject all of them for the proper investigation. And anybody that find culpable on the allegation based on what they have handed over will be prosecuted accordingly.
The NSCDC has promised to carry out discreet investigation and culprits will be charged to court. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The River State Police Command has apprehended 2 suspects allegedly involved in human trafficking and also rescued 3 kidnapped victims. River State Commissioner of Police Tunji Disu made the revelation while briefing journalists in Port Harcourt. Emmanuel Leonard tells us more.
The 2 arrested suspects, Daniel Destiny Oyegbulem, aged 28, and 33-year-old Uzodima Eze, were arrested during a stop and search along Igruta Eneka Road while riding a motorcycle. In the course of the search, Daniel was found carrying a sack bag containing a 1-day-old baby still covered in blood and struggling for breath inside the sack, with the placenta also found alongside.
Following the apprehension of Daniel cooperated with the investigating officers and revealed the crucial information about the criminal network involved in this act. It disclosed people involved in it, and we are still making frantic efforts to pick those other ones.
Meanwhile, 3 female kidnapped victims who were kidnapped from their residence in Umualuta, Igrutali, have been rescued. The rescue operation followed a distress call on the 28th of January 2024, prompting the police to act swiftly. Blessing Egbuna and her 2 daughters, Sonia and Chinaza, were rescued.
The successful rescue operation serves as a testament to the indispensable role that community cooperation plays in our collective effort to combat kidnapping in Rivers State.
Residents are urged to be vigilant and proactive, reporting suspicious activities promptly to the police for action. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Dennis for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Dee Barbary. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lokbobiri, says Nigeria is projected to gain $5 to $10 billion when all issues regarding oil prospecting license 245 are resolved. Briefing journalists, the minister debunked an online publication insinuating that an agreement had been reached between the government, Shell, ENI and Malibu. Describing the publication as a wrong representation of facts, he clarifies that no agreement has been reached as both parties are still negotiating.
Nothing to benefit the president as an individual. But as President Commander-in-Chief, his interest is the welfare of Nigerians. His interest is to attract requisite investment to the sector, so that Nigerians can benefit from these God-given natural resources. And this block has been embroiled in one form of litigation or the other for 28 years. It doesn't make any sense for us to continue to live. And as I said, the world is going towards abandonment of fossil fuel. If we don't get these investments in now, they will forever remain in the soil.
While expressing optimism that the issues will be resolved soon, he said the oil block has the highest number of deposits, which will be of immense benefit to Nigeria's economy. It has been a long-standing issue between Shell, ENI and Malibu with ongoing negotiations. A final solution may be in the pipeline. In line with the need to foster enlightenment on ethics and leadership practice in the public sector, the Borno State government, in collaboration with the Borno State Multi-Sectoral Crisis Recovery Project and Abuja Consult Limited, have organized a 3-day workshop on ethics and leadership in the public sector. Angarju Anagwawa reports.
The workshop is geared towards exposing the state civil servants to the rudiments of leadership and the need to maintain ethics in the discharge of their duties. 450 participants are drawn from level 14 to 16, with the training to be conducted in batches. The state governor, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, represented by the head of service, Malam Fanami, and the state project Multi-Sectoral Recovery Project, Babazanna Abdul Karim, said the event is a Borno State government initiative to fill in the gap by creating awareness on the importance of maintaining ethics in the public service and the impact of good leadership skills as part of its project implementation aimed at repositioning local governance that should not stop at the grassroots.
Your ability to know and exhibit the right leadership skills and work ethics will be one of the determining factors in the future.
Guest speaker Dr. Bulama Mali Gubio commended the facilitators of the workshop.
It would appear we have a solid base for attitudinal balancing to usher in great changes and innovations in our public sector.
The executive director, Aija Sunday Ochoche, lauded Governor Zulum for his strategic leadership values, saying leaders are held to higher ethical standards. The participants of the workshop appreciated the efforts of the facilitators. In Maiduguri, Anarju Anagawa, NTA News.
The local government is said to be the authority closest to the people, serving as a bridge between the citizens and other layers of governments. Well, this informed the decision by the Borno State government to introduce a biometric capturing system that will ensure the presence of the local government council chairman at their duty posts at all times to provide grassroots governance and assist in the resettlement of IDPs. Mohammed Gumi reports.
20th January local government council elections held across the state, adjudged by stakeholders to be peaceful and orderly, culminated in the swearing-in of the 27 local government chairmen along with other appointed officials. At a ceremony presided over by Governor Bagana Umara, representative of the State Chief Judge Justice Haruna Michelia administers the oath on the local government chairmen and other appointed officials. Governor Bagana Umara Zulum, who congratulated the council chairmen, drew their attention to the enormous task ahead, charging them to align themselves to the reconstruction, rehabilitation, and resettlement drive of the state government, tackle poverty and joblessness at the grassroots.
Local governments are an integral part of overall development focus and strategy of the government that requires adequate attention to tackle the demands of poverty, joblessness, and insecurity. We should make effort to spread development projects across the local government and enforce discipline in the prudent management of the scarce resources.
Secretary to the State Government Bukar Tijani, Head of Service Malam Fannani, and Commissioner for Local Government and Emirate Affairs Unmai Mele underscored the necessities for appointing the SS permanent secretaries and the conduct of the local government elections that produced the sworn-in chairman. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Let's stay in Maiduguri, where Zainab is now joining us live. Zainab, hello, and tell us more about what is expected from the new local government chairman.
Hi Benny, and thanks for joining us in Maiduguri. The 20th January 2024 local government election is the second organized by the Zulum-led administration since the return of peace in Borno. This is because since assumption of office in 2019, rehabilitation, reconstruction and resettlement form part of the cardinal part of Governor Zulum's administration, which informed the resettlement of no fewer than 22 communities and about 12 local government. Only recently, Logomani community were resettled, whereby 500 semi-detached houses were constructed and handed over to each of the head of household and widows in that community. Governor Zulum wants to see that the resettled communities develop resilience and return back to their normal lives, which cannot be possible without good governance at the grassroots. Hence the measure of caretaker chairman, chairman being in the council and ensuring that they transverse each of the nook and cranny of the community. Borno's resettlement is being done in line with the Kampala Convention, that it is voluntary and it's being done in a dignified manner. Whoever is not willing to go back will be resettled in a safer society of his or her choice. And again, whenever this is being done, the state government usually support them with food and non-food items such as bag of rice, maize, cash supports, mats, insecticide and farming implements for farming, especially in the terms of irrigation. Secondly, regarding the chairman, they are expected to construct trenches to fortify the citizenry in line with other security strategies in place.
So Zainab, many thanks for giving us the overview.
And that's all from here.
Thank you very much, Zainab. I'll let you catch your breath. Now, wearing the hijab represents modesty, virtue, and respect for every Muslim woman. Hawa Gimba takes a look at the head covering as an identity for Muslim women.
Just you to know that not only Muslim women put on hijab. Some women who cherish modesty also adorn the hijab. No wonder a day is set aside to spread the awareness on the importance of the hijab as well as addressing the challenges Muslim women who adorn the hijab face.
Let us place the trail in our chosen fields of endeavor and be examples, reference points, not for negativity, but for all that is decent, humane, productive, and proactive. We are committed to spreading this message through all possible ways until it is widely understood and embraced.
Celebration of the World Hijab Day started 12 years ago, and the Coalition of Nigerian Muslim Women is committed to constructive engagement with various stakeholders on the significance of hijab by Muslim girls and women. Hawa Gimba, NTA News.
In other news, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, says it will continue to promote initiatives geared towards the empowerment and protection of the rights of women in its programs and reportage. NTA's Director General Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos stated this in a message when the Coalition of Nigerian Muslim Women met with the management. Tope Alabi reports.
The Coalition of Nigerian Muslim Women unites various organizations including Form 1, Nasfant, Women in Dawa, Jadaifa, Criteria, Al-Mu'minat, and Saruddin Mesh Muslim schools, among others. This visit to NTA management is part of its commitment to addressing challenges faced by women as the group annually hosts World Hijab Day.
Hijab is absolutely a sign of freedom, empowerment, and strength for the wearers. It is worn by choice, and it is not a symbol of oppression. It never was, and it never will be so.
Director General NTA Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, represented by the Executive Director Special Duties Adamu Sambo, says the largest TV network in Africa will always be at the forefront of protecting the rights of women.
For us in the NTA, as a public service broadcast outfit regarded as the authentic voice of the Nigerian government, any effort aimed at enhancing public good in the country is, to say the least, our concern. I want to assure you that NTA will partner with you and support you adequately in the renewed drive by your coalition to propagate the ideals of that beautiful attire and what it represents amongst the Muslim faithful.
The theme of this year's celebration, Veiled in Strength, marks the 11-year milestone in 2024 since its inception in 2013. Tope Alabi, NTA News.
The Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission says it will work with relevant stakeholders and interfaith agencies for the unity and peaceful coexistence of citizens in Nigeria. The new Executive Secretary of the Commission, Bishop Stephen Adigbite, made this known while briefing the media on the new agenda of the Commission.
It is a new dawn, and you will agree with me that the biggest room in the world is the room of improvements. We appreciate the work of our predecessors, but we are here to contribute our own quota to key into the theme agenda of Mr. President, the Renew Hope. And this year is our year of renewed hope and satisfaction. So there will be a renewed hope, a new dawn in SCPC from today, and there will be satisfaction for this organization and for Nigeria. And it's going to be well with each and every one of us.
Bishop Adigbite takes over as the fourth Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, replacing Reverend Yakubu Pam, who was appointed in 2020. And the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, NOGA, wants the Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage to expedite action and ensure they complete their assignments before the end of March this year. President General of the Union, Ambali Olatunji, stated this while briefing newsmen after NOGA's National Executive Council meeting. He said the new wage must factor in the current exchange rate and rising cost of living, while championing an upward review of retirees' pension allowances by 100%.
Dollar has increased to between 1,400 and 1,500. So we have to go back to our own round table, do the technical session, and arrive at an acceptable commensurate living wage for Nigeria, using a comparative analysis of the economic indices of Nigeria and other sub-Saharan Africa who have the same economic indices with Nigeria.
The union expressed concern about the security situation in the country, advocating the establishment of community policing in all local government areas.
We also call for immediately for the establishment of community police in all the local government that will comprise of local security outfits, vigilantes, hunters, and other security units that will be well registered, well recruited, well trained, and well kitted.
They urge the federal government to mitigate the effects of fuel subsidy removal by creating a minimum of 3 compressed natural gas centers in each state across the nation. Let's now head over to our Ibadan Network Center where Charity is standing by. Hello, Charity.
Hello, Dennis, and welcome to Ibadan. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Oyo State, has received sensitive election materials needed for the rerun election in Shaki West State Constituency on Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. Correspondent Oyeyinka Omole witnessed collection of the materials at the Central Bank in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
The election materials were received by the resident electoral commissioner in Oyo State, Dr. Ramon Tella, representatives of political parties and other major players.
We have the ballots, papers, 1 carton. We have the ECA series form, which is the result sheet. Then we have all the replacement sheets. So making 6 cartons that we have received now.
Well, we got here, all the materials were brought out and they were all intact.
We are expecting the INEC to play their part according to the rule.
The rerun election for the seat of Shaki West constituency in the State House of Assembly became necessary in the affected 2 polling units in 2 wards following a court ruling after the 2023 general elections.
We are having about 1,285 voters that were disfranchised. And the margin of lead between the 2 candidates remains 233, which is a strong indication that we have to go back to the poll and reconduct the election.
While assuring the people of the area of provision of adequate security during the exercise, the INEC urged the people to turn out in large number to elect a candidate of their choice in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
National Orientation Agency, NOAA, has restated its commitment to reposition the country through the establishment of a national value charter. Kehinde Omolosho reports that the Director General NOAA, Larry Isa Onilu, said this during a working visit to the agency in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
The National Orientation Agency is saddled with the responsibility of developing a Nigerian society that is orderly and disciplined, where citizens demonstrate core values of honesty and hard work while upholding democratic principles to promote peace and social harmony for national development. This, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Malam Larry Isa Onilu, says will be achieved through the National Values Charter, which will define responsibilities of government and expectations from Nigerian citizens.
The first component is what we call the Nigerian promise. That's what the country is promising the citizens. These promises, the country now say, okay, so I'm giving you these promises, 7 of them. I'm asking for 7 commitments in exchange. So that's where the charter comes in. That's where the contract comes in.
While at the site of the explosion that occurred at Bodija recently, the Director General called for attitudinal change by citizens, as attitude in his submission is the cause of issues in the country.
You can't have government without the people. So people also must play their role. As we have noted, there's no way something like this will happen, that somebody in this environment will not have noticed some kind of movement. So the essence of see something, say something, this is how it plays out.
At the palace of the Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Mahood Olalekan Balogun, Lanre Isa Onilu, pointed out that the traditional institution is closer to the people. As such, they need to include them in bringing sanity to the country. In Ibadan, Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
From this axis, we now pause for another break. When we return, we will join Charles Abba in Makudi for more on Nationwide.
Thank you for staying. Called on other critical players for support towards eliminating neglected tropical diseases affecting 1.6 billion people in over 149 countries across the globe by 2030. They say in Benue State, the 23 local government areas have overlapping endemicity for one or more of 4 entities that are of public health importance, with a risk population of 6,580,000 persons. Iverian Solomon has more.
January 30th every year is set aside by the World Health Organization to draw the attention of political leaders and the general public for support towards eliminating neglected tropical diseases, NTDs. As part of efforts to raise awareness of the risk factor of NTDs as it poses a serious threat of health in the 23 local government areas of Benue State, that the Ministry of Health and Human Services further lay emphasis on the need to mobilize resources towards elimination of NTDs before 2030.
We reiterate the call to all stakeholders to redouble their efforts as we sustain strategies such as preventive chemotherapy through mass drug administration, with an average of 3,993,098 persons.
All the 23 local government areas are endemic for river blindness, 16 LGAs are endemic for intestinal worms, and 22 local government areas are endemic for bilharziasis. This, the health experts say, poses serious threats to the attainment of Sustainable Development Goal 3, as the burden of NTDs is higher than that of malaria and tuberculosis combined.
Set aside for awareness creation and also to mobilize support towards the fight against neglected tropical diseases.
NTDs ranks among top 4 most devastating communicable infectious diseases, alongside diarrhea, HIV and AIDS, and lower respiratory tract infections. The theme for this year's World Neglected Tropical Diseases is Unite, Act to Eliminate NTDs. In Makudi, Iverian Solomon, NTA News.
And thus our contribution from Makudi is back to Dennis in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Many thanks, Charles. Let's now head to the sporting world with Badi Adeleye. And Sports Update concludes Nationwide. Many thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adegunloye.